Hello. Welcome aboard. This is really like a briefing. If you're new to Positive Prime or you actually been in our community for a while, but you haven't been faithful in using the tool. So as you may or may not know, I'm Kim Serafini. I'm the inventor of what is a Positive Prime session. And what we can say now is that the Brain-Computer Interface Lab at the University of Technology, Sydney, in the School of Engineering, have actually validated with real research that Positive Prime sessions actually have an impact that's positive on brain dynamics. What does that mean? It works. It works exceptionally well. It actually changes your brain, right? So I'm here to answer any questions. We do this gathering weekly. I love being of service. It's either me or someone we would call a positivity practitioner. And so I can see there's a couple of new people. Every week, there's at least one person I don't know in this group, and then usually at least one person I do know. This is one group gathering that we do via Zoom. There is actually another group gathering that we do at the same time, 2 days prior. So whatever time it is for you in the world, if you can imagine, not yesterday, but the day before at exactly the same time, we actually have group coaching and healing. And so there's either me or somebody who's a therapist, a counselor, a social worker, an energy healer, somebody who actually turns up and guides people through any challenges they're facing, any issues they want to deal with. And it's one way that we serve our members of Positive Prime, so our paying subscribers. Usually I do a very quick whip around, but I can see if you would like to come on out, this is being recorded. We might share it with a broader audience, i.e. other Positive Prime members. So you can either write in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask questions, and I will see what I can do in terms of answering, guiding, inspiring, and so forth. Questions, comments, curiosities. What are you wondering? How long have you been here with Positive Prime? What do you want out of it? How would you like me to help you make the most of it?
Hi, Kim. It's Marsha.
Hello, Marsha. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I just wanted to say I am so loving Positive Prime. I have been using it for about a year and really started realizing how great it was when I personalized. And that has been so true. And I went through kind of a rough patch in September and October, health-wise. And so I started upping the amount of sessions I was watching and which sessions I was watching. And I was really happy today when I looked at my how many days, and it said 31. And that was my goal, was to watch it every day for a month. And it's kind of allowed me to have a paradigm shift in where I was and where I am now. I believe wholeheartedly and live with an attitude of gratitude, but I was struggling with that, with some of the things that were happening in my life. So it's just been able to up my level a little bit. So thank you very much.
Marsha, that's beautiful. Thank you. You know, it's interesting because sometimes Positive Prime is subtle, right? So we actually very organically, naturally emerge into this change state. We're evolving, we're growing, we're developing. And sometimes it's not actually obvious to us. And then somebody says something in passing like, oh, wow, Kim, years ago, you were really hyper and now you seem a lot more calm. And I think to myself, well, I have actually done an enormous amount of positive priming over the years. I'm just curious, Marsha, in the offering, when you're a paying subscriber, you can access something called Coaching Pearls. And so we have many, many, many very short videos with great advice, suggestions, recommendations, little teachings, little, I would call them gems or pearls of wisdom. Have you actually taken advantage of viewing any of these coaching pearls?
Um, I haven't recently, but this summer when before you were able to really download a session, this is what I did because I had limited Wi-Fi. So I would just go in and watch one of these, and that worked as well. But I think for me, it's finding the sessions that I need at the time, and I've tried to commit myself to watching one session every day for 2 weeks, to try to give me the same oomph, and then to try to do at least one new one once a week. And so I
Oh,
kind of rotate
awesome.
them through. So
Awesome, 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 awesome. The question I'd love to also ask you is, have you ever watched any of what we call a mix? So I'm just going to go in here and let me call it, it's called a super mix, right? And so our super mixes, they are actually several sessions altogether. So I'll just go in here and I'll do a health is wealth one. Let me go here.
are
Health
you
is
in
wealth.
mine? Are you in mine by chance? Because that is my goddaughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I actually have access to everyone's, not your personal images. So I can't actually see what's private inside your own.
Yep.
But what I find really fascinating is that we custom curate some of these for our clients, like super mixes after a year, right? And so I probably have actually just accessed yours. I can watch your session, but not
Okay.
with your images. And what happens with the way that the display works is it picks up one of the images and it displays it. That's so funny.
That is funny. If you saw the
I
cat
think
in that picture,
that
uh,
is serendipity.
yeah, well, that's what positive prime does, right? It puts us back into the flow.
It
Uh,
does.
I've
That's
been
wild.
It is very wild. So I've been watching your super mix for cellular no, what is it?
Healing?
The cellular healing one. I think that's Dana Wilds, right?
That's yes. No, Dina Proctor is actually cellular
Proctor.
healing.
Right.
She's an amazing woman, and it's inside this Supermix Health is Wealth collection. And what we can do for, I think that we still have this as a promotion. I should actually double check this. When you've been a subscriber for a year, on your birthday, we gift you the opportunity for us to create you a super mix of your own. So you tell us what your 5 favorite sessions are, and then we mix and merge them and put them into one. I love watching super mixes, and one of the reasons why I love watching it is because if you see in here, I can actually watch a tiny little bit of nutritional nurturing, explosive energy, fabulously fit, wonderful wellness, and cellular healing. And so what happens is I actually personalize these sessions, and it means that I can watch just a tiny little bit of each one of these sessions. It means I'm not watching, nutritional nurturing all the way through, and then I'm actually loading a second session and watching explosive energy all the way through, and then loading a third session like fabulously fit. And so what often happens is I will have one of these super mixes playing all the time, and in a separate window on my computer, I might actually be in a meeting, or I might be working on something, but I constantly want that quantum physics effect. I want to be in that quantum field, and positive prime for me helps me access that. Like I
Well,
literally drop into that state.
you said something last week about using the screening, and I've been doing that this week. Rather than watching on the YouTube channel, I've been screening from my phone, and I've definitely noticed a difference energy-wise in the
Wow.
room.
Yeah,
So
wow. That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Some of us really believe in the esoteric or the ethereal aspects of like a spirituality. There's much more than meets the eye. And I tell everybody to go watch the movie What the Bleep Do We Know. Now, it's an old movie, but it's a goodie. And so just as I actually created stickers that I would put on glasses that would say, I'm loving, loved, and lovable. or I'd write on it. You can actually now buy very easily those pens where you can write on a glass. And so if you know Masaru Emoto's work, he's actually referred to in that movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? But we are 70% or thereabouts water. And so is, the entire of the beautiful Mother Earth, covered in 70% oceans. And so for me, I feel like when I'm watching a positive prime session, it's actually infusing into me energetically. Now, I'm a little wild and weird and crazy and fabulous, but whatever.
Yes, I've been called witchy poo a time or two.
Yeah. So, I've, as you may have heard me speak in some others, I've actually had 6 near-death experiences where I've actually literally been dead and come back alive. My heart has absolutely been at flatline, and I've had, the little chip in my chest that, they were monitoring, and they were so confused because they put me in a cardiac MRI machine and there's nothing wrong with my heart. And they're like, we don't get it. Why is her heart stopping? And to cut a long story short, on one of the occasions, my heart had stopped for well over 20 seconds, and it had happened several times. And I truly believe that I don't have irreparable, irreversible kidney damage, and I don't have some of the other incredibly damaging effects of having your heart actually stop completely for more than 10 seconds at a time. My curiosity in the field of neuroscience and in the field of wellness is actually about how on earth did my body then, let's call it, wake up, even though I wasn't asleep, right? And much more to the point, why wasn't the damage irreparable, irreversible? And why didn't I end up with brain damage, as, by the way, would have been expected from the experiences that I went through? So am I a miracle? Of course I am. Am I magnificent? Of course I am. But are you too? Yes. However,
I believe that. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and when I was in my early 30s, I was at one point wheelchair bound and walked with crutches and cane for 10 years, probably closer to 12. And in my 30s, I decided that I was going to take responsibility for my own health, and became I just changed everything. And then I met Nadine, and things changed even more. And I am now at a place where I am working for wellness, and that's the way I see my life, which is a huge change. Yeah, it's been lovely. I am grateful, thankful, and
am I
blessed.
to understand that you are no longer wheelchair bound?
I am not. I can
Wow.
actually, I actually I've had to go to physio for the last 2 years to learn how to walk without a limp,
Wow.
because I worked with one
I
for so long.
absolutely love that. Do you know, people often don't necessarily know unless they've heard me say it before, but more than 20 years ago, I actually invented what is now known as hot stone massage. Like, I literally created that style of treatment and rolled it out in beauty salons and spas and health retreats and so forth, and trained lots of lecturers at places like the Australasian College of Natural Therapies, and it spread like wildfire. It's one of the reasons why I'm involved in that community and am invited to the Global Wellness Summit every year. My point about all of that is that I was training thousands of Ayurvedic doctors, traditional medicine doctors, therapists, healers all over the world. That was an incredibly beautiful business that I had. The point, though, was that as a qualified kind of osteopath, exercise physiologist, that was really my training as I was rolling out these body treatments and kind of being a light worker in a sense. The real shifts for me happened when I realized that I needed to create something that helped people to shift their emotions. And that's why I wrote the book about gratitude. I Am Grateful for Life was actually an open eye visual meditation. I'll tell you, the funny thing is I actually was showing it to someone the other day. So it's here on my desk, right? So This was my first book. It was a little gift book, and it was available in all the spas and salons and retreats and the places that were my clients. And then I wrote another one called I Am Grateful for You. And it was interesting because I did an enormous amount of research about how the brain thinks in pictures, how we process, how to change emotions, why changing emotions is absolutely critical, the effects, the consequences and implications on our bodies. And then I became much more interested in where do emotions actually get created? And it's inside the brain, and it's got everything to do with the endocrine system. And so then I, of course, have, after 10 more years, literally come up with what is a positive prime session in terms of the formula, because I'm much more interested in people's emotional states actually being shifted. Now, like everything, you brush your teeth, you still need to brush your teeth at the end of the day. A positive prime session's effect actually only lasts about 6 to 8 hours. But there is nothing else that I know of that puts your body and your brain in particular into this positive prime state as rapidly, and with the effects being as enduring. And so, Marsha, I absolutely know for a fact from all of the different specialists that I speak to that in terms of rheumatoid arthritis and it being a really naughty autoimmune disease, that inflammatory state is highly likely for you really exacerbated in a highly emotional state. And when you're more stressed, more fearful, more angry, when you've actually got some of these other emotions happening inside your body, I would imagine you get flare-ups. Is that right?
Yes, it's true. And in my life was interesting. Interesting is a strange way of putting it. I lost my husband 9.5 years ago. It was very sudden. He drowned while we were on vacation in Mexico. And that year I also became primary caregiver for my sister who had cancer, and all of that just, as you say, it just, everything goes off. And I know for me that it is to do with my emotions, and it's in my body. I store my emotions in my back and my hips. And my neck, but primarily that is what I've come to realize, is that emotionally that's where I hold them. And yes, so learning how to release that has been huge. Yeah, and I think if I'm not in that attitude of gratitude, it's just too easy to go into the woe is me's.
Well, I'm now going to guide you to something really amazing. I just got an email this morning. So one of the people I admire the most, respect the most, and love the most, and have had just the most beautiful opportunities to talk to at length on several occasions, is Professor Stephen G. Post. Now, bear with me. I'm just going to share the screen and we're going to go on a little search. And I've got a couple more minutes. And then I see there's somebody else here. So Marie-Claire, do I say Marie-Claire? I mean, if you've got a question, let me know. I don't want to leave without addressing you. So let's just go here to Stephen G. Post. All right, so Stephen G. Post, yes, is this beautiful human being. Absolutely one of the most humble, gorgeous, fabulous men on the planet. His Holiness the Dalai Lama actually literally has written, he thinks that Stephen is the greatest living philosopher of our time. He is the founder of something called the Institute for Research on Unlimited Love. Oh my golly gosh, do you know what? I'm going to stop sharing for a second. You've got to look at this. All right, so I received this email this morning and I opened it up. And just when I did that change, like to share my screen, I saw that the open email is in the background on my computer. Can you believe it? I love serendipity and synchronicity. Anyway, Stephen Post actually founded the Institute for Research on Unlimited Love. And actually there's an entire story here about the work that he did with Sir John Templeton and of course the Templeton Foundation, and I could, go on and on and on. The Institute was established 21 years ago in Cleveland by 12 renowned research area consultants. Long story short, here's what I wanted to say to you. Stephen wrote a beautiful book last year. It's called God and Love on Route 80. Let me show you. It was Stephen who actually told me, it'd have to be 12 years ago at least, could be actually even longer. It might be 14 years ago. Anyway, I saw him speak at this event. The event's an amazing event. It was a conference, very well organized, but very focused on positive psychology and in particular the science of happiness. And Stephen was a speaker there, one of the keynote speakers, and he had written a book that was actually about giving and helping and so forth. Anyway, this book that came out in 2019, God and Love on Route 80, is incredible. So actually, I see here why good things happen to good people. Let's click on this. Why good things happen to good people. This particular book, it says it came out in 2007. So I'm going to argue that actually I met him. It must have been in like 2008 because that book was brand new at the time. So I went to, or maybe I went to New York and met him in 2011. That'd be right. But anyway, I met him again in 2018. Long story. I would highly recommend you buy his books about why good things happen to good people and the hidden gifts of helping. Bottom line, when we experience gratitude, we increase oxygen absorption out of our bloodstream, right? So it's actually extremely good as an emotion for our circulation, and cleansing and purifying, and really nice diaphragmatic deep breathing in terms of the consequences and implications on inflammation. So I'm not surprised that you've had this beautiful journey where you're now into understanding deep, profound, sincere experiences of gratitude, like truly, fully embodied appreciation is one of the most powerful things you can possibly do for your health. It is an anti-inflammatory. Now, a lot of people are too busy to spend enough time in very quiet, pure, peaceful contemplation around gratitude. They're too distracted. They've got too much else going on in their lives. And so, Marsha, one of the things that I would definitely be doing as you are watching a Positive Prime session is I would be looking at the images and I would say, thank you that I can see the beauty in this photo. Thank you that I can see the colors in this photo. Thank you that I can identify with the kindness in this photo. And the more you're consciously thanking for what's arising up out of the session, quite frankly, the better for your health. Stephen Post literally is the person who taught me a lot about, in just a couple of sentences, the necessity for someone like me to exist on the planet and devote their whole lives to, writing books about gratitude and sharing them with audiences and so forth. And he actually wrote a beautiful little thing on the back of this. I actually don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it. That's hilarious, isn't it? But it was, I am grateful for life, the book, and I'm grateful for you, the book. The processes that I went through is actually why I created Positive Prime sessions the way I do. What a great conversation to have. Thank you for reminding me a little of the journey. So you're absolutely right, Marsha. It's not just you that have emotions impacting you in a significant way. It's all of us, right? All of us, even those of us who think we're numb. Our cells actually are wide awake. All righty, so let me just go and have a little look in the chat here. Marie-Claire, please ask your question.
Hello, Kim. So I was just looking at my notes and I spoke to you about 2 months ago. I joined one of these sessions, and back then I was just wanting to, because I do Positive Prime every morning and I do it before I do a whole lot of affirmations. But when I spoke to you, I was just saying how when I started, I just want to bring more money in my life because I run my own business. I'm a speaker and I'm an author. And when I started Positive Prime, like money came in instantly, and then it didn't keep flowing on. And so when I spoke to you, and there was a coach that you had on the line as well, you told me that I needed to forgive myself, which was a fair call. So I've been watching the financial forgiveness, and I alternate that between one of the ones you do on money and another one on success by Canfield, which I love doing. But I'm still not seeing anything. But I've also done a new routine. When I wake up in the morning, I just lie in bed and just give thanks for just everything I can think of for a good 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm even doing that throughout the day. And I don't know, I suppose I just, things are kind of not as good as I'd like them to be financially, but I know that I can't think like that, but I feel also that I'm also focusing on loving everything around me more as well as giving thanks. But I just thought I'll just throw that at you, and if there's anything that you can suggest, because I feel like I'm doing a lot, like half an hour of stuff every morning, or even 40 minutes. So
okay, perfect.
Any advice?
Love the question. I absolutely love the question. So you ready? I'm going to dive in. I've only got a couple of minutes, so you're going to get a fire hose effect.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah. All right.
we're going to go a million miles an hour. I'm going to invite your other than consciousness to actually understand what it is that I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The more that you can appreciate the money that is flowing into your life and the savings that you are making, the more you will be in vibrational resonance with more money flowing into your life. The noticing, the witnessing, the acknowledging, the even accepting of not enough money coming into your life, I swear to you, means that not enough money will come into your life. It is actually a direct correlation.
Oh, can I just say something that's interesting? I can manifest money for my husband. If I focus,
Okay.
I can, so the money's coming through him, but not through me. So I can manifest it in other forms. So it's coming in, but not through my business as much as I'd like. It's coming in drips and drabs.
Okay. So what I would definitely do is try to be hyper conscious of where you're using words that aren't said and feelings that are underneath the surface where you feel like you're being really positive. I'm going to give you a little bit of an example. There's a lot of research that's been done that says we have about 40 to 50,000 thoughts a day, right? There's also a lot of research that says that about 80% of our thoughts are the same as they were yesterday, last week, and last month. There's like this repetition, there's this pattern, we get into this groove, it's automatic, all of a sudden we're away with the fairies or whatever, we're daydreaming, and actually we're just repeating a lot of the very habitual ways that we've been operating in the world, right? So the kind of scary truth that nobody really wants to say out there is that half an hour is great, but 13 hours would be better. So you actually need to tip the scales in your own favor. And that literally does mean that you turn the volume up. You absolutely have to intensify it.
Okay.
So a really forceful, pure joy will actually override the fear, the worries, the anxieties, the concerns. And also, I would dare say, the more emphatically passionately you can share with your story about a new future, the more it'll override the stories of the past. You would have a lot of storytelling in your mind about what may not have worked in the past, what hasn't quite stacked up, how it hasn't really yet come to fruition. And if you're telling yourself in any way, shape, or form, even if you're kind of thinking it or feeling it, and you're not actually like literally saying it out loud to anyone, it's not quite coming, you're actually in this vibration of it not quite coming. So one of the exercises that I definitely do is I connect into the quantum field before I do my thank yous. There are lots of things that you can Google online about how to really like drop into heart space. It's universal love space, right?
I actually do that.
You do that before you do your thank yous in the morning?
Yeah, so I go into my heart, and then I even put my hand on my heart and visualize what I want and feel the love around it. And I spend a good 10 minutes feeling the love around the things that I want in my life.
Okay, but are you actually acknowledging the love that is in your life? So it can't be intellectualized. It has to be embodied.
I give thanks for the people that love me in my life and spirit as well. And then I do automatic writing as well to get messages from spirit to help guide me.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So I'm going to say something that is also relatively controversial. In a lot of my other coaching, people have heard me say this, but there is another factor. If you're doing everything right, there is also another factor, and it's called universal divine time. So
well, yeah, but I've been waiting for timing for so long. And, I believe in my star sign. I'm meant to be in a really amazing period. Nothing's happened. And I've been waiting for it, the timing, going, everything will happen after Halloween. And it still hasn't. It's like, oh, this is effed. So, yeah, timing, I'm getting sick of timing because it seems to constantly be something happening that's going to happen that just doesn't, it might happen for a little bit, then it stops. And it's like, oh. So anyway.
Okay.
I don't know.
So how much action are you taking?
Oh my gosh, all the time. So, I'm constantly making phone calls, and yeah, I work really hard. I'm not afraid to take action. Okay,
well, that's awesome. Do you think that every one of those actions, or the majority of them, let's not be ridiculous because not all of us can be everything. Are you taking those actions, and are they really pure and intentional?
Well, I do an intention before I reach out to people. Okay. So I send out love and just there to have a conversation, to be of service and to help them. And, I do an affirmation where I am attracting the right people to me who have the time and money to get the great transformational results.
Perfect. Can you tell me what that affirmation is? Say it.
I am the powerful God of me, and I am bringing towards me the right people who have the time and money to get the great transformational results through doing my programs.
Okay. May I tweak it?
Yes.
Okay. It has some language in there that presupposes that it hasn't yet happened.
Bringing.
It can't be in vibrational alignment of it having happened. And it's actually not in a gratitude state. So bear with me, and I'll try and give you an example. Say the first, I need to type this out. So just bear with me, right? So, because do you know what? This is going to serve not only you, but other people. So I am, right?
Yeah.
What I would do is I would say, and if you believe in God, or you believe in gods, if you're Hindu, doesn't worry me, whatever. It's no judgment. It's what's absolutely right and perfect for you. So if it was me, I'd be saying, thank you so much, God, for helping me 2. So I would presuppose that I'm actually being helped. Can you tell me the rest of it?
So I do what Dee Wallace teaches. I think Dee Wallace actually recommended Positive Prime. I don't know if you are aware of her.
I don't know her, but there's one particular little phrase. So can you say it or something like it again?
I've actually got them typed out. I could put it in the chat.
Okay.
I've just got to find. I've got so many. I'll just type it in the chat. This is what I. Oh.
Love it.
Let's see.
How much personalizing have you done of your sessions as well?
I've done a bit, so I've got my own photos in there.
Okay, great.
So this isn't, it's kind of got her language, but I change it when I'm doing it. But so don't worry about the your, because I did my. And then
Okay. So all right. So instead of saying, I know that my program will serve a lot of people, what I would love for you to do is actually say, thank you, 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 thank you. Now you're thanking your higher self. And for you, it's the God of you in your language, right? So it's thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the people that I've served with my program. It presupposes that you have served a lot of people with your program, right? So you're now in vibrational alignment of the appreciation that it has happened, which quite frankly means it's happened, which means everything in the universe, all the circumstances, all the situations, all the people, all the timing, the resources, everything had to have already aligned. There already has to have been excellence in execution. There already has to have been the experience of it for you to actually be in appreciation of it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the moments in my life where I've actually been connected to the right people who have actually been helping me for the right reasons. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the moments where I have been in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
Thank you, 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 thank you for the people who have become my clients, who have willingly paid me and who have had more than enough time to engage with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be the person who has caused phenomenal shifts in my clients' lives. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the people who have felt that I have been the catalyst in their transformation. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the clients that I've worked with who are out there happily recommending me. Thank you, 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 right?
Yeah.
So, Marie-Claire, that's all we have time for today. I'll see you on next week's, or actually I'm not here next week. I'm traveling. I've got lots of meetings and all over the place next week, but I'm here the week before Christmas. So come back. Please just try to shift the tense from future tense to past tense and try to be in a state of really deep appreciation as you're saying your affirmations. I actually want to come up with a brand new word that is Kim Serafini's versions of I know that Noah St. John does affirmations. I know that Tony Robbins does self-fulfilling prophecies, as he calls them, or incantations. The truth is that whenever I find myself begging my angels or God or the universe or asking for something, I literally now, it's almost like I get a slap. I slap myself. It's like this second version of me slaps me and says, Kim, if you're asking for something, it presupposes that you don't already have it. That is not the energy, right? That's just not. And guess what? I know better. And so, like, for me, it's about whipping myself into spiritual alignment. And I know that I need to say, thank you, 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 thank you. And so I will tell you that I do a lot of yeses. So I'll think of somebody that I would love to be able to work with or do a deal with. And I literally might go for a walk and I'll just say, thank you, 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 thank you so much for the yeses. Thank you for the yeses. And I actually imagine that this person has already said yes to me. And how would I feel? I would feel incredible, wouldn't I? It's like, woo! Now, if you can't actually celebrate as if it's already happened, we need some practice in celebrating. That's it. That's it for today. I love you very much, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Go celebrate for all the success that you've already had. Love you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure. Ciao.